Hey, welcome, Tech for All channel here. The GitUp F1. You've already seen the unboxing. Nothing really surprising there. So what we know about this camera so far? Out of some comparison videos, we know it performs outstandingly well in terms of detail. So I would say the details you get in the picture of this camera are way more than what you get on an average Ambarella based action cam. Secondly, low light performance, quite stunning as well. Among the great features it has, you can program the shutter button so that it can turn on the camera and begin immediate recording. That could be very useful in some situations. And among other cameras of the same type, I really feel this is a great productivity booster. Very powerful chipset, excellent optics, and pretty much any feature you might need from an action camera. And don't forget, this is more of a hybrid, perfect solution for FPV on a drone because it comes in a very very convenient form factor, but you can also use it as an action camera. Actually, I tend to use it a lot lately because I don't mind having no display, because I can use my smartphone instead. Would be a fair thing to point that I was quite amazed with the quality that this camera produces when I was actually editing the comparison video versus the Firefly 8S and the Mijia. So if you haven't watched it yet, you can check it out. What else? Well, some people had their remarks about the color representation, and in this video I'll take the opportunity and show you every possible feature about color options that you can get with this camera. The deep dive is starting right now. I'm pretty happy with the performance of the gyroscope, or the so-called electronic image stabilization. Keep in mind that recently the Ambarella A12 based cameras have switched to EIS version 2 via firmware updates. So I believe currently what the GitUp F1 does is up to par with the performance with the SJ7 Star and the Firefly 8S and many other models. Oh, and by the way, I'm about to record this video in full HD. I'm not going to do that in 4K because I don't want the video to be too shaky, because 10 minutes of shakiness can bring you some headaches. Microphone is the first topic as usual. You tell me, if I have to rate it, could have been a little bit better. Probably that's fixable via firmware updates. Second thing, let's explore some more footage. In time of the shooting, I just realized among all the color options, like you have vivid, 70 film, black and white, sepia, pop art and whatsoever, besides the GitUp color mode, there is no flat color option, and I believe it could be very useful for some people. That's one more thing that possibly could be added to the firmware. Other than that, I think the color representation is not too bad. Some people were complaining about colors not being too warm. I overall like them. You know, it really depends on what kind of conditions you're shooting at, but I wouldn't rate it as really bad. So overall, I would prefer to go ahead and shoot with the GitUp setting. The GitUp F1 is famous for its outstanding connectivity options. Like we have Bluetooth, for example, which is awesome. There also is a mini USB port which gives you the ability to connect FPV transmission and also to get pulse enabling of recording and stopping it. Now, of course, Wi-Fi test, Wi-Fi range test. And what is more interesting, over here we have two frequency options, 2.4 GHz and 5.8. So apparently, right now I'm going to perform two range tests. Starting with the 2.4, the camera is recording. Actually, the refresh rate of the picture on the phone is great. However, there is no landscape mode, which is a bit disappointing. So let me start walking away and figure out how far we're actually going to reach. One thing I forgot, recording on the smartphone, because otherwise you can't hear me. Okay, tap, record, done, going backwards. See ya! Right, still some coverage. And it's almost lost, refresh rate is bad. And I'm gone. So let me see when I come back. Nothing yet. No? Okay, now visible. I guess this is kind of the maximum distance for properly transmitting some image to the camera and controlling it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Kind of 9.5 meters. That's the distance I was able to reach. 2.4. Now let's check out the 5.8. Right, I can't actually measure the 5.8 because apparently the chip inside the camera is more suitable for the US frequency range, and I'm located in Europe, so over here most of the smartphones are programmed to be covering the frequencies between channel 40 and channel 56. And I very much believe that this camera is operating at probably 160 something, which this phone can't really check. Another thing which you can't do is to change the frequency through the application. So in most of the cases, to be on the safe side, 2.4, and apparently the usable range is up to 10 meters. I wish I could have given you a bit more drone footage, but I couldn't. The Bangtoys X16 has a gimbal, and the form factor of the F1 is not compatible with this gimbal. And the Buck 6, which I've tried, and its battery have unfortunately let me down one more time. At the end, I guess you get what you pay for. Now the F1 and conclusion time. I truly believe that GitUp as a company, they have squeezed the absolute maximum out of this Ambarella chipset and the Sony IMX318 sensor, because this camera performs fabulously. If we put it side by side with other much more popular brands, I believe you would be surprised how good and how better the quality of the F1 could be in certain conditions, especially in low light environment. And I can easily say that this camera puts to shame a lot of well-known brands. Unfortunately, as a company, GitUp are rather small, and I was quite surprised to see that the F1 is only sold via banggood.com or via their official website. No Gearbest, no TomTop, no other popular resellers. So I guess there are some marketing issues, or I don't really know what exactly is going on. But if you want to support the company, go ahead and purchase this camera from gitup.com. Advantages. They are so many, I don't really want to talk about. We're just going to remind you, besides this fabulous image quality, one thing which makes this camera really unique, this mini USB port. Throughout this mini USB port you can easily get some video image, and you can turn it into FPV transmission. Just add the antenna, get a receiver, and you're all set. And a cable to do that is provided with the original packaging. Of course, I do have some remarks. Microphone is not good. Overall, it's not good. It has some noise, which is rather unpleasant, and I've put a lot of effort to normalize the level so that you can hear me fine throughout this video. Second thing, I wish there was a time-lapse video option. There is time-lapse photo option, so you can stitch the photos together. Nothing for video. Thirdly, improve the app. It could be better, and please include landscape option. In terms of support, GitUp are doing a really good job. They have a forum, and they monitor the forum. So as soon as you have a question, a trouble, or something you want to share, go to their forums on gitup.com and you can easily find some help. Firmware. Firmware is also being maintained pretty well. Going back to the Git 2 experience, there were frequent firmware updates. I do expect to see the very same about the F1 camera. Battery life is rather good. You don't have a display, which for some people is a disadvantage, but for the battery, a big one. I was actually surprised that GitUp are not selling F1 spare batteries. That's quite weird, but you have an option. The battery is exactly the same as the one in the Xiaomi Yi camera. So go ahead, buy a Yi battery. It's gonna work. It costs about 10 bucks. So no issues with the spare batteries. And at the end, the micro SD card support. If you're shooting with U3 capable micro SD, you would be fine. During most of the time I've been shooting with my old class 10 64 gig data card. It's 7-year-old technology, and even in 4K it was properly holding the 60 megabit bitrate which this camera produces in 4K resolution. And again, I'm reminding you, this video was shot at 1080p because I wanted to take advantage of the stabilization. This camera does not offer stabilization at 4K, just like every proper Ambarella A12 base camera. So that's it. If I have to say with one word, I really enjoy using the GitUp F1. I know they've done this hybrid on purpose because they obviously can't compete with other brands which can invest a lot of money in marketing. But people who are dealing with FPV and drone footage, they would be really delighted to use the F1. That's all from now. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive, and tell me what you think about the F1. Is it better than other cameras like the SJ7 Star or the Firefly 8S? And what do you think about the image quality? What do you think about the scenes? I'd love to hear from you. Comments below. That's where I can expect you. And it's really ridiculous. I can see my breath now. When I came here this morning to record, it was sunny. it was warm and it wasn't windy, and now I'm almost freezing. I'm not properly dressed. I've been talking too long already, wasn't I? Alright, see ya!